Good morning, students. Today we are going to deal with the topic transfer of title by non-owner. It is a part and parcel of the Sale of Goods Act. Already we have discussed in the last lecture conditions and warranties in a contract of a sale, and thereafter we also dealt with the transfer of property and the rules regarding it. Now it is most important topic in the Sale of Goods Act, that is the transfer of title by non-owner. It means that the person who is not owner of those goods, but he has a right, he has a power to sell those goods, to make a transfer of those goods. Now, in what circumstances, under what circumstances or conditions, uh, and which are these persons who can, without the a valid title regarding the property in the goods, can sell or transfer the property in the goods to the buyer. So, as as a principle, in a contract of sale, it is presumed, it is a settled presumption that the seller is the full and sole owner of the goods. Seller is the full and sole owner of the goods. And on transfer, the buyer becomes the absolute owner of the goods. If the seller is not absolute owner of the goods, then he has no right to sell those goods. If he has a partial rights in that goods, suppose I have taken a car from Mr. B in a mortgage. In Marathi we can say that की एक गहाणपत्र केलेलं आहे, त्या गहाणपत्रानुसार मी एक कार मॉर्गेजमध्ये एका व्यक्तीकडून घेतलेली आहे आणि त्या व्यक्तीला मी काही पैसे दिलेले आहेत. आता मॉर्गेज म्हणजे गहाण म्हणजे मी फुल ओनर नाही आहे. जोपर्यंत अनलेस अँड अनटिल दॅट पर्सन pays that amount given to him, then and there I can retain that car with me or in my possession. If he renders that amount, then I will have to, it is my duty to give back that car to that person. So I am not the full owner of that car. So I can't sell that. So I am not the owner. It means that I am not the owner. I can't sell, I can't transfer that car to another person, third person. So in the same sense, when I fully own something, for example, if I have mobile, I have owned it, I have purchased it, and I have a good title to that mobile. For example, I have receipt maybe. So it can be said that I am full owner of those goods or that mobile, whatever it may be. So I only have a right to sell or transfer that property in the goods when that property really and fully and solely vested in me. So it can be said that no one can sell goods and give a good title unless he is the true owner of that goods or of those goods. So the rule is expressed by the maxim, the Latin words nemo dat quod non habet. It means that no one can pass a better title than he himself has. So whatever he has, whatever you possess, that must not only be possessed by you, but that must be owned by you also. Possession म्हणजे ताबा असणं महत्त्वाचं नाही, तर ती वस्तू किंवा ती गोष्ट ती तुमची मालकीची असली पाहिजे, तुमच्या मालकीची असली पाहिजे. ताब्यात काय एखादी वस्तू, if you find something on the road, suppose you find a mobile on the road or any purse on the road you find, then that is in your possession. You are not owner of those goods or that purse or that mobile. So section 27 of the act provides a general rule that no one can give to others what he has not. So it lays down that where the goods are sold by a person who is not the owner thereof and who doesn't sell them under the authority or with the consent of the owner, the buyer acquires no title to the goods. So there are some exceptions. This is the general rule that no person can sell the goods if it doesn't own that. व्यक्तीला जर एखादी प्रॉपर्टी किंवा एखादी वस्तू विकायची असेल, ट्रान्सफर करायची असेल, तर त्याला सर्वात प्रथम ती त्याच्या स्वतःच्या मालकीची पाहिजे. मग त्याला काही एक्सेप्शन्स आहेत, अपवाद आहेत. कोणकोणते आहेत पाहूया. पहिलं एक्सेप्शन आहे सेल बाय मर्कंटाईल एजंट. आता मर्कंटाईल एजंट म्हणजे काय? व्यापारी प्रतिनिधी. आता समजा माझा एखादा बिझनेस आहे आणि मी एखादा व्यापारी कमिशन बेसिसवर व्यापारी प्रतिनिधी नेमलेला आहे, जो माझ्या वतीने माझे गुड्स, माझी मालमत्ता विक्री करण्याचं काम करतोय. तर अशा केसमध्ये तो जो मर्कंटाईल एजंट आहे त्याच्या हातात मी माझी वस्तू किंवा माझं प्रोडक्शन मी सोपवेन, त्याच्याकडे देईन किंवा त्याच्या गोडाऊनमध्ये पाठवेन आणि तो तेथून विकायचं काम करेल. Sale by mercantile agent. So in this case, a mercantile agent has been delegated to sell those goods on behalf of the principal. So this is an exception. Though mercantile agent is not the owner, he can transfer that property on behalf of the principal. Principal means the person who appoints that other person as his agent. So in a contract of agency, it is also contract of agency can be called. So where the goods are sold by a mercantile agent who is in possession of the goods with the consent of the owner, in the ordinary course of the business, the buyer will get good title if he acts in good faith. Here, the buyer acquires a good title to the goods, though the seller has no authority to sell. So seller can't, in every way, in every time, he cannot do every act of selling or transferring the property. So he can appoint a person in this regard or in that regard, and then he can, through that person, he can sell the goods. So essential conditions are there. The goods must have been sold by a mercantile agent. He must be in the possession. Agent must be in the possession of the goods or documents of title to the goods. एजंटकडं जरी एक वेळ म्हणजे गुड्स असायला पाहिजेत, मालमत्ता असली पाहिजे. सपोज मी सेलर आहे, माझ्या वतीने मिस्टर बी हा एजंट आहे, तर एजंट कधी ट्रान्सफर करू शकतो? तर एक तर त्याच्याकडे माझ्याकडून गुड्स त्याच्याकडे पोचले पाहिजेत, मालमत्ता पोचली पाहिजे. समजा मालमत्ता पोचली नसेल तरी सुद्धा चालतं, पण त्याचे जे डॉक्युमेंट्स आहेत, टायटल मीन्स ओनरशिप. Okay, in legal sense we can say it has a different meaning. Title means ownership. So he must have ownership documents. Third one condition is that his possession must be with the consent of the owner. So my consent must be there. First of all, I should deliver those goods with consent to that agent. Then and there it is possible to sell those goods or transfer those goods further. That is what I am saying. If I find something on the road, or if I get something, or if I possess something, I am not fully owned those goods, those property, then I can't transfer that. Second point is that sale under implied authority of owner or title by estoppel. So already I have given you the meaning of estoppel. Estoppel means whatever you have represented once, you cannot take it back. You cannot deny it later on. If you say, suppose for example, one person comes to me and says that he is the agent of the Tata company and he wants to sell some goods of the Tata. So I believe upon his statements and I purchase those goods believing those goods are from Tata company. Later on I find that person has deceived me and he is not the true agent of the Tata company. What will happen? So if I file a case against that person in a court of law, and if he takes a ground that actually I have filed a case against the Tata and against him, he as an agent of the Tata, now what will happen? And if he denies that statement he made to me that he is the agent of the Tata earlier at the time of selling those goods, in a court of law he takes a ground that he is not actual agent of the Tata company, then court also considers him as an agent of the Tata company. Why? Because of estoppel, principle of estoppel. It means that you cannot take back your statements. You cannot go against your statements once you make in a contract of any contract or contract of a sale. You can't deny that later on, though you have deceived other person or you have made a misrepresentation. So under these circumstances, if a sale is occurred, if sale is happened, brought about, then what will happen? that person has to be held liable for as an agent of the Tata company, and he will be held liable for those goods if those goods have a fault or any defects in those goods, whatever it may be, he has rendered to that other person. So there is one case, old case, O'Connor versus Clark. It's an old, very old British case. So Mr. A, the owner of the furniture, allowed one of his employees, B, to have the name painted on it. A is the owner of furniture shop. He allows one of his employees, Mr. B for example, to have the name painted on it. A did so for the purpose of causing the people to believe that the furniture belonged to B. A wants that other persons, the buyers, must believe that those goods are not of A, but those goods belongs to Mr. B. So he lets Mr. B to paint his name on those furnitures because he wants to sell those goods. Now C, the third person, purchased the furniture from Mr. B in good faith. So C acquires a good title as A is stopped from denying B's authority to sell. So estoppel means once you give something, once you make a statement regarding something, you can't take it back, you can't change it, you can't go back or reverse your statements. Third one, sale by one of the joint owners. So one of the joint owners means what? Mr. A lives in Pune and I live in Kolhapur. We have a joint venture. We sell something. Now there is a partnership between me and that Mr. B who lives in Pune. Now I have some goods. Means my partnership has some goods and I want to sell those goods. So if I sell those goods, so it may be implied that I have sold those goods on behalf of Mr. B also. I mean, jointly we have sold those goods. If the sale has been taken place by one of the partner or done by one of the partner. Sale by person in possession of the goods under a voidable contract. So voidable contract, already I have told you what does it mean. It means that the voidable contract is a valid, but it can be voidable at the same time. Why? If under some circumstances, for example, under mistake, under coercion, under misrepresentation, under fraud, if any contract is signed by parties and later on it is found that the contract was under coercion or misrepresentation, any of the 5 elements I have discussed earlier with you. So if the seller or buyer, both of the parties, either of the parties finds that later, after making a contract later on, after transferring the goods, if he finds whether he's a buyer or seller, finds that whatever has been rendered, whatever has been given is defective. So contract will come to an, but or either of the party is at the opinion that he's been forced at the time of making a contract. What will happen? And later on, if he files a case against that other person, that I have signed a document, I have signed a contract, but he has forced me, he has shown me revolver, and he has taken my sign. So I want to deny that contract right now under the fear I have signed on that contract papers. So if he takes a ground and he files a case in the court of law, what will happen? So sale by person in possession of the goods under a voidable contract, what it happens, let us see. Example I would like to cite here, A purchases a radio set from Mr. B by fraud. A buy a radio set from Mr. B by fraud. So A has a voidable title of the set. A न B कडून एखादा रेडिओ सेट विकत घेतलाय. आता A ला voidable title कसं असणार आहे? तर before B rescinds the contract, A sells the set to C. समजा त्या रेडिओमध्ये काही डिफेक्ट्स असतील किंवा काही प्रॉब्लेम्स असतील आणि तो जो व्यक्ती आहे बी, जो सेलर आहे, ए ने विकत घेतले, त्याला ते कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट कॅन्सल करायचं आहे. पण तो कॅन्सल करण्याआधीच जो परचेसर आहे ए, त्यानं ते तिसऱ्या व्यक्तीला, सी नावाच्या व्यक्तीला विकलेला आहे. And the C is the person who is the third party who buys that radio in good faith in ignorance of the fraud. So here C gets a good title to the radio. म्हणजे हे उलटी केस आहे. थर्ड पार्टीला गुड टायटल मिळू शकतं, पण जी फर्स्ट पार्टी आहे किंवा सेकंड पार्टी आहे, मग बायर असेल सेलर असेल, त्या पार्टीला मात्र ते व्हॉइडेबल कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट असतं. तिथं त्या कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट चेंज करता येतं, कॅन्सल करता येऊ शकतं. पण थर्ड पार्टीला एकदा जर त्या व्यक्तीनं ती वस्तू किंवा ती गुड्स विकले, द गुड्स सोल्ड अंडर द voidable contract to a third party, then that third party gets a good title. Sale by a seller in possession after sale, where a seller having sold goods continues to be in possession of the goods or of the documents of title to the goods, sells them to the other person who buys them in good faith and without notice to the previous sale. The buyer acquires a good title. For example, समजा माझी जमीन विकायची आहे. काही वेळेला लोक फ्रॉड करतात. मिस्टर ए, आता मला एक मिस्टर एला मी ती जमीन विक्रीचा करार केला आहे, अजून जमीन मी दिलेली नाही आहे, माझ्याच हातात आहे किंवा कार माझ्याच ताब्यात आहे, फक्त मी करार केलेला आहे आणि काही पैसे ट्रान्सफर तिकडून घेतलेले आहेत. पण मला आता काय हाव सुटली आणि परत मला थर्ड व्यक्तीला ती कार विकायची आहे. म्हणजे एकाच वेळी मी दोन सेल ॲग्रीमेंट किंवा सेल कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट करतोय, मिस्टर ए आणि मिस्टर बी बरोबर. कदाचित बी बरोबर मला दुसरी जास्त प्राईस मिळत असेल, त्यामुळे मला आता ते पहिलं कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट कसं तरी कॅन्सल करायचं आणि बीशी कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट करून जास्त पैसे मिळवायचे आहेत. माझ्याकडे कार आहे, अजूनही कार माझ्याकडे आहे. अशा वेळी समजा मी बीशी जर करार केला तर तो बीला गुड टायटल इथं मिळू शकतो. दो आय हॅव मेड अ डिफॉल्ट ऑर फ्रॉड अपॉन मिस्टर ए, सो इट इज कॉल्ड सेल बाय सेलर इन पोझिशन आफ्टर सेल. सेल ॲग्रीमेंट झाल्यानंतर सुद्धा दुसऱ्या थर्ड व्यक्तीला सेल करणं, जर गुड्स आपल्या ताब्यात असतील तर. समजा मी तुम्हाला एखादं पुस्तक विक्री करण्याचं ठरवलं आहे, बिझनेस लॉचं पुस्तक आहे, मी तुम्हाला देणार आहे, तुमच्यापैकी एकाला मी देणार आहे, विक्री करायचं ठरवलं आहे, तुमच्याकडून पैसे घेतले आणि मला परत आता असं वाटलं की ते चेंज करावं, कॅन्सल करावं, मला कोणीतरी दुसरा व्यक्ती आहे तो जास्त पैसे देणार आहे. पुस्तक माझ्याच ताब्यात आहे, अजून मी तुम्हाला ते डिलिव्हर्स केलेलं नाही, तर मी जर त्या व्यक्तीला विकलं, मी फ्रॉड केला असेल तुमच्या बाबतीत, पण दुसऱ्या व्यक्तीला मात्र ते गुड टायटल आहे, त्याचा काही संबंध नाही. त्याला जर मी पुस्तक दिलं तर ही हॅज अ गुड टायटल टू दॅट बुक्स. सेम केस आहे सेल बाय बायर इन पोझिशन आफ्टर सेल. म्हणजे बायरनं सेल केलं तर काय होईल, हे तुम्हाला समजण्याजोगं आहे, मी तिकडे जात नाही. सेल बाय अन अनपेड सेलर. अनपेड सेलर म्हणजे मी तुमच्याशी करार केला आहे पुस्तक विक्री करण्याचा, पण तुमच्याकडून मला अजून पैसे आलेले नाही, काय होईल, मी विकू शकेन ना तिसऱ्या व्यक्तीला. सिंपल आहे. सेल बाय अन अनपेड सेलर. अनपेड सेलर मीन्स आय, the person I have made a contract with you, but I haven't secured or I have not been rendered by you any amount of money as a consideration for that book. So I can sell to third party, no doubt. So these are the transfer of title by non-owner. We declare non-owner means they are going to be owners, but because of certain circumstances they are non-owners at that time when they make a कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट ऑफ अ सेल. म्हणजे काय, आता ह्या केसमध्ये मी पुस्तक विक्रीचा करार केला आहे, तुमच्याकडून पैसे घेतलेत, पण तुम्हाला अजून पोझिशन मी ट्रान्सफर केलं नाही, मग अजून तुम्ही फुल ओनर झालेले नाहीत ना. अशा काही केसेस. इथं कसं आहे की स्टेप्स बाय स्टेप्स आपल्याला लॉमध्ये डिस्कस किंवा त्याचा पॉईंट्स पाहावायचे असतात. एकदा का पैसे तुमच्याकडून आले आणि माझ्याकडून वस्तू तुम्हाला गेली, ट्रान्सफर झाली, यू आर द ट्रू ओनर, बायर इज द ट्रू ओनर. बट पैसे घेतलेत मात्र अजून कार दिलेलीच नाही, पुस्तक दिलेलीच नाही, तर अशा केसेसमध्ये काय घडतं हे आपण आता पाहिलं. सो देअर आर ऑल्सो सम एक्सेप्शन्स अंडर अदर ॲक्ट्स. सेल बाय फाइंडर ऑफ गुड्स. what will happen, suppose my mobile has been lost and Mr. A finds that mobile on the road. What will happen regarding that mobile, and whether that finder of goods, finder of that mobile, जो कोणी व्यक्ती आहे ज्याला तो मोबाईल सापडलाय, त्याचे त्या मोबाईलच्या संदर्भात काय हक्क असेल. So as per section 169 of the contract act, a finder of goods has the power to sell that goods under certain conditions and the buyer will acquire good title. फक्त कंडिशन अशी आहे की समजा एखाद्या व्यक्तीला, मलाच एखादा मोबाईल सापडलाय मिस्टर एचा, तर मला एक विशेष अशी काळजी घेतली पाहिजे की सदरच्या पोलीस स्टेशनमध्ये जवळच्या जाऊन तो मोबाईल ज्याचा कोणाचा आहे तो देण्याचा मी प्रयत्न केला पाहिजे किंवा त्या फाइंडरला शोधण्याचा प्रयत्न केला पाहिजे. आता प्रत्येकी केस कोण घालणार नाही, पण समजा त्या व्यक्तीला शोधण्याचा प्रयत्न केला पाहिजे. रिझनेबल ॲक्शन मस्ट बी टेकन टू सर्च दॅट पर्सन, टू फाइंड दॅट पर्सन whose goods are in my possession or whose goods has been lost. Then and there only I have a good title to those goods and I can sell. If that finder of the goods hasn't been found, जर त्याचा शोध लागला नाही, एक रिझनेबल केअर काळजी घेऊन, मग मला सदरची प्रॉपर्टी मोबाईल असेल किंवा आणखी काही वस्तू असेल ती तिसऱ्या व्यक्तीला थर्ड पार्टीला विकण्याचा अधिकार असेल, तर मी सुद्धा त्या मला सापडलेल्या वस्तूचा मालक बनू शकतो, जर एक योग्य ती काळजी घेऊन जर मी सर्च करून सुद्धा तो व्यक्ती मला सापडला नाही, जो मालक आहे तो सापडला नाही तर. सेल बाय पॉनी. पॉनी म्हणजे तुम्हाला मी आधी सांगितलेलं आहे मागच्या केसमध्ये. पॉन म्हणजे आता आपण एखादी वस्तू ठेवतो, मॉर्गेज करतो, मॉर्गेजच, पण हे वस्तूंच्या बाबतीत होतं, आणि मॉर्गेज हे प्रॉपर्टीच्या बाबतीत होतं, इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टीच्या बाबतीत, शेतजमीन घराच्या बाबतीत मॉर्गेज असतं, आणि पॉन हे फक्त मुवेबल वस्तूंच्या बाबतीत असतं. पॉन किंवा प्लेज एकच आहे, अर्थ आहे त्याचा दोन्हींचाही. So under section 176 of the Contract Act, it is a special kind of a pawn is a special kind of a contract. Pawnee of goods has the right to sell those goods placed under certain conditions, and he passes a better title than his own, than he has won. So in these cases, these are the circumstances where the other persons also under other various acts can have a good title to the property, though they are not full owners of those goods, and they have a good title, they can sell, transfer that property to a third party, though they are not full and absolute owners of those goods. This is what we today discussed. I hope that you might have got the concept, the basic concept, that the true owner, though not, can sell the property in the goods if he has a good title, good possession over that property. So this is what we discussed, the sale by or transfer of the property in the goods or transfer of the title by non-owner. So if you have any doubt or query, then feel free to contact me or call me or send me a message on my WhatsApp number. Thank you very much.